Have you ever noticed that there are times when you're directing your employees instead of seizing an opportunity to empower them? I'm talking about developing your people so that they can hone their own problem solving and decision making skills. Hi, I'm Marissa Santoro, and I've been helping senior managers and leaders and organizations coach their teams for success for over a decade now. So I want to share a couple of ways in which you can seize opportunities to really empower your people and help them lead effectively, following your lead and paying it forward. All right, so the first thing I want you to consider is to encourage ownership. So let's say, for an example, you join a meeting with your employee and they share some problems that they're encountering. So maybe some obstacles in the project or just something that they can't solve on their own. And they're basically giving you a status while also sharing the problems. Well, in that moment, that's a great opportunity for you to encourage ownership. Ask them as a consistent just way of leading. Ask them before coming into a meeting with you with any issues or concerns. Ask them to come in their hip pocket with at least 3 possible solutions that you two can discuss together. So now you're putting the ownership on them, right? They're coming to you already prepared with just 3 things. We love the rule of 3 here back at In Horseshoes. 3 things that they've already considered as possible solutions that now you can have a discussion on, right? So they're coming prepared with those possible solutions. So this is really about assigning your employees ownership of projects or problems and making them responsible for finding solutions. Now, you can also support them in these meetings by providing resources for them and offering to remove obstacles that can help them do their job better, right? As a matter of course, rather than telling them exactly what to do. So that's in a way, those are a couple ways in which you can encourage ownership. Now, the second way is to ask guiding questions. And now I'm sort of, moving on to the coaching world, right? In the coaching world, traditional coaching says, ask questions rather than give answers to your, to those that you're supporting. And while I do believe that that's true, I don't believe that's true in every case. I think if you have the answer, you should share the answer, where you need to, if you're coaching someone, and you see that they're struggling. So there's a fine balance to it. But when you have your team and they're asking or they're sharing some, concerns, ask guiding questions instead of giving them the direct answers, right? You can ask questions like, well, what do you think is the best approach to this challenge? Or what options have you considered, right? And this also might segue into the 3 things that I just talked about earlier. But this really helps you, instead of answering a question, it's answering a question with a question. And this really encourages your people to think critically and develop their own solutions. Now, I'm a big fan of storytelling. If you have a previous story from your former life where you were young, maybe just out of college, or you had your first manager or leader role, share those stories. That's what makes us vulnerable. That's what makes them connect to you. And if there's any perfection paralysis going on in their head, like, they have to get everything just right before they complete a project, a task, or responsibility you give them, well, when you share a story where you fail forward, or you made a mistake and you owned it, or, it was just a lesson learned and it was a wrap and you just went ahead and went forward from there, that would really help them and give them permission to do the same. Now, I'm going to be talking about this other technique in the same realm in terms of solutioning, and that's called mind mapping. So I'm a big fan of mind mapping. It is actually the basis of creative problem solving, so look for that in a future video. But for now, I'm going to move on to the third way in which you can empower your people versus directing them. So I want you to also, as a normal cultivation culture habit, foster a growth mindset. Right? This is really a growth mindset is creating an environment where others are learning from their mistakes and they are encouraged to learn from their mistakes by you. So instead of correcting, right, guide them through the reflection by asking, what did you learn from this, experience? Or, the next time this comes up, how might you approach this differently? Or you could also, maybe insert a way in which you have handled it in the past, or which, you would recommend, them considering. Maybe giving them just a couple of breadcrumbs for them to run with, and then letting them figure out the rest of the approach. So, this is an example of more like, co-authoring together. I like to say that term because you're sort of solutioning together. You're giving them a little bit of a, direction, and they're taking it away. And I'm a big fan of, I've always been a big fan of hiring people that know your job even better than you, right? So you might be doing something, the same way for years. It's been working for you, and then you hire someone and they find a shortcut, or they find a much better way to do it. Well, you know what? That's where we're paying it forward, and including listening to that and embracing that their way of doing it really encourages, as I said earlier, ownership, but it also has them plus your ideas. So you're giving them an idea, and now they're plussing it, and you're really encouraging that, right? So you're sharing an approach, and they're going even further with it. So all of these, really builds confidence and problem-solving skills. I'd love to hear any that you're already doing, or maybe, think back to a previous manager or senior leader that you had in your past life, and really think about what are the top 3 things that you really, really felt was the reason why you felt they were such a good manager. Like, what did they do when they were leading you, right? How did they treat you? What was the relationship like? Go back to your most favorite manager or leader, senior leader on the team, and really consider that. And that might be some things that you want to share with your people as well, and also, of course, encouraging them to embrace their own authentic style, right? You don't want them to believe that they have to take on your style or your personality or how you do things. If you like to speak short and sweet and direct, well, maybe that's not how they speak, right? Maybe they like to take the time. They're more slow, they're more steady. So all of these things can come up naturally in conversation, but you have to take the time, right? You can weave it into the everyday course of business, while at the same time empowering your people. And I promise you, if you keep doing that, you'll be cultivating a team for success, and you'll be making that favorite manager list when they think back 10 years from now on their favorite manager, right? They'll remember all of these qualities that you've instilled in them because you've believed in them, right? And that's how it works. All right, thanks so much for watching here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.